I'm Redden. Well, a review has heard fresh calls for smacking children to be a crime in Queensland. Joining us for more is former Queensland Police Detective and Criminology Associate Professor at Bond University, Dr Terry Goldsworthy. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr Terry Goldsworthy. Well, if I read an excerpt of the Australian from this morning, smacking children should be against the law because it's akin to beating wives and slaves. More than 100 health and welfare experts, they have told the country's first review of domestic discipline laws. That's in the Australian today. What are your thoughts?
Look, I think using language like that around the domestic discipline section of the criminal code is, inflammatory and verging on hyperbole, to be honest. It's not akin to that at all. Section 280 of the criminal code, as it stands in Queensland, allows domestic discipline to be used for the management, control or discipline of a child under the age of 17. Now, the suggestion is that this allows parents to, or teachers, for instance, also have that ability to go around and without any kind of impingement, smack, beat, hit children. It's simply not the case. We had a review into this by the Attorney General's Department in 2008, and they identified about over a 3-year period, there was about 100 cases where they saw that this section was used as a defence and raised. And their final verdict, when they looked at all those matters, was that the conviction rate sat at 97%, and that they did not see that there was no overwhelming use of this defence whatsoever, and it was certainly no bar to prosecution and successfully prosecuting people. So I do think that, perhaps we're overstating the importance of this defence and how often it's relied on.
All right. The article also talks about Bravehearts, the Daniel Morecambe Foundation and Triple P International among around 32 leading child protection organisations, research centres. There's around 104 academics, child safety experts. They've signed submissions and they are opposing corporal punishment as, quote, ineffective, harmful and a violation of children's rights. What do you think of those comments?
Well, look, I mean, I was smacked as a kid and I turned out all right. But, the issue is here, where it's the only form of, enforcement done, it can be problematic. Where it is part of a suite of offences, it can actually be of some use. And, if you look at the empirical data, yes, most of it says that, corporal discipline is not a positive experience. Well, you need to look at how often the corporal discipline is done, what type of corporal discipline, etc. The Queensland Law Reform Commission is doing a review of this. This was asked for in 2003 under the previous government, and they're now getting to the stage of releasing their report in the upcoming months. But they've done community consultation. When they put forward a scenario of an 11-year-old child late at night staying on their phone after being told by their parents to surrender it at 8 p.m. The child then screams and swears at the parents in the scenario. The parents use force to take the phone off the child. In that scenario where discipline is used, 64% of the community supported that those parents should not face a criminal charge. There's also strong support for teachers to be able to use, physical force in terms of management in their classrooms, not discipline, but management. There's a difference. When we have these charges or these matters come before us, when I was in charge of a child protection unit, we look at a number of things. And one is, was the force used reasonable? And was the force used for discipline, management or correction? And when we say reasonable force, we're looking to see how was the force applied, implements, etc., things like that will raise a flag. Where was the force applied? What part of the body was the force applied? And how was it applied? Was it an open fist, open hand? Was it a fist? Was it a kick? All of those things are considered in terms of whether it's appropriate to criminally charge someone or not. So I don't think it's the case that people are walking around and beating children senseless and then, legally getting off on some kind of technicality. That just isn't the reality of life.
All right, we've got to wrap it up. Dr Terry Goldsworthy, thank you so much for joining us as always.
Thanks, Jamie.